Jai Gurudev. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tato Jayamudirayet. Jai Gurudev.
Hari Om Brahmaraji, could you
Yes.
please just tell little more about that tool avidya today Nanaji talked about? The tool avidya, I just want to understand. I got that the concept, what happens to a person. That he is in a complete dormant stage, isn't it?
Yeah.
He will be
He said there are
nishkriya.
two kinds of avidya. One is Mula avidya, which is the root ignorance, the main ignorance, which is Atma Anatma ignorance, wherein all of us are in that state where we don't know our true nature. That is the Mula avidya.
Okay.
Whereas Tula avidya is a person not knowing what to do, what action to take, what to do at the right time. That is the Tula avidya.
Okay.
And
yeah.
example that he had given was that plank, the person who's lying
Yeah,
down.
that was very
lamp-
clear. That was,
Yeah,
but I'm surprised that we have such existence of human beings who will not take action. I mean, nishkriyata, complete, it is like a complete nishkriyata, right? Tula Vidya is like you do not do any action, although you see the consequences of that. Plank is there, burning plank is there, and still you ignore and turn to
correct.
other side and sleep. I mean, that is beyond imagination. So Tula Avidya is, I don't know, it is like
Yeah,
sthavar tendency, isn't it?
correct. It is actually, I think it is that dense tamas when is there. That is the total tamas that is there. That is what a person would behave as. For instance, if you look at all those that are differently able, they may not be as alert as a normal child, no, to protect themselves. That's why they require protection. That's why they require to be taken care of.
Okay, I got it. Yeah. Differently able, or maybe the person who is completely drunkard or uh,
Also,
yeah, they all, I mean, okay, got it, Brahmaraji.
that
Dhanyavad.
would be the Tula Vidya.
Yeah.
Drug
Dhanyavad.
addicts, for instance, all these people who are in whose mind is not normally functioning. Otherwise, your reflexes will work. Your prakriti will help you. If you are yourself falling down, like if the monkey is falling down, it will hold on to its mother. That is your swabhava. That is nature. It's instinctive. But where even that maybe is not there, that is the Tula Vidya.
What about the ignorance of people who refuse to see the importance of action, duty, and they don't do anything? It's not that they don't have bad intentions, but they just feel aloof and indifferent, and they don't think that it is their responsibility to do it, though somewhere they know they have to do something, but still they don't do that. What is that, avidya?
That is also it is also an attribute of tamas, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pramada alasya nidrabhi. So that amounts to pramada, that amounts to that indifference.
Actually, pramada and tula vidya, very subtle difference if you really see. Pramada also is where you know something needs to be done, but you decide not to do it. or something that's wrong, you shouldn't do, but you end up doing it. So that also is kind of a Tula Vidya, right? It's ignorance, knowing something but still not doing. Knowing something needs to be done or is the right thing to do, but not doing it.
Yeah, like you have to pay taxes and you don't pay.
Yeah,
Or you have to
do something.
brush your teeth and you're lazy to brush your teeth or lazy to take care of your body. People, very example is, people know when they have, say, diabetes, or they have hypertension or whatever, or they're obese, they need to lose weight. They know they have to do exercise, but they don't do it. So all that comes into that, it's a combination of indifference and Tula Vidya, laziness, all
Mm.
put together, give you that tamas. It's so beautiful. In fact, I think, I don't know, this 14th chapter is more about you. It's actually more about us as, um, so more than the asi aspect, that it is more about the, the tendencies of and qualities that we are made up of.
Yeah, it is so beautiful about our existence. I mean, we are able to so well describe Bhagwan has really
No?
the effect of Rajas and the effect of Tamas.
Ultimate psychologist. I mean, I had a lot of respect for Maharshi Patanjali because he's such a fine, astute psychologist who has analyzed the mind and how it functions. Bhagwan is superlative. He's given us such a huge, beautiful overview of how we are. So, do you want us to go through those shlokas once again? The
Yes, please.
Yeah, we'll go through that once. Yeah, we'll start from sixth, I think. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakamanamyam sukasangena badhnati jnana sangena chanagha. I will just run through the meanings. O sinless one, Arjuna, there among these, sattva, which is illuminating and without affliction, because it is pure, binds by connection to pleasure and connection to knowledge. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi trishna sanga samudbhavam tannibadhnati kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. O son of Kunti, Rajas, may you know, is in the form of a coloring of the mind, causing longing and well entrenched attachment. By connection with action that completely binds the indweller of the body. Tamastat tamastvajnanajam vidhi mohanam sarvadehinam pramadalasya nidrabhihi tannibadnati bharata. O descendant of Bharata, Tamas, may you know, is born of ignorance and causes delusion for all those who have bodies. It binds the person completely by indifference, slothfulness, and sleep. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati rajah karmani bharata jnanamavritya tu tamaha pramade sajjayatyuta. O Bharata, Sattva binds in the form of pleasure, Rajas in the form of action, but Tamas, covering knowledge, binds indeed in the form of apathy. So, like Tamas is is a pratibandhaka for practice of arjavam. Arjavam is where your thought, word, and deed are in line and sync. Example is if you want to get up and you set up the alarm, and when the alarm rings, instead of practicing arjavam, will be to get up at that time and then go about whatever you're doing. Whereas when tamas is there and it's overpowering you, it will make you shut the alarm and sleep off. So tamas is like an obstacle to practice of arjavam. So we need to introspect where tamas is showing up its hood. रजस्तमश्चाभिभूय सत्वं भवति भारत रजसत्वं तमश्चैव तमसत्वं रजस्तथा. O Bharata, sattva arises overwhelming rajas and tamas, and indeed rajas arises overwhelming tamas and sattva. So too, tamas arises overwhelming rajas and sattva. So this means that at any one point there can be only one guna that is predominant, right? Or is there a time where all the three gunas are in balance?
Yeah, I think it's always a combination that's there, is what I feel.
No, the combination is there, no doubt. All the three are there, but in different measures. So when sattva arises, it means when you're predominantly in sattva guna, the other two automatically are kind of subdued. Like what happens after we've done our kriya, we are predominantly in the sattva guna. So there is no restlessness of the mind. The mind settles down, it steadies. Tamas, of course, is not, there's no trace of tamas there. No trace in the sense, it's very subdued.
So what I have also heard another interpretation, I don't know how true or, so they say that this Rajo Guna is something that can take either side. Meaning if you are in Sattva, if your Sattva is more, Rajo Guna will start supporting Sattva. And if you are more of Tamo Guna, Rajo Guna will support you more in the Tamo Guna aspect. Meaning, suppose like Nanaji mentioned about exam, okay, you have to study, say it's sattva, but the action of studying and making, putting effort in that direction, the rajo will support you to do that. Because you're primarily in that mode of sattva, you want to study, acquire knowledge, so you will be pushed towards that side. But if you're more into tamo guna, doing not so great things or whatever adharmic things, rajoguna will push towards that direction, because rajoguna is anyway required. That activity, one tamoguna is okay, the lazy part, that is a different thing. But even there are tamogunas which are, forcing you to do things which are not good, adharmic activities or things like that. So that is also tamoguna that pushes you towards that side. But rajoguna will support and push it more towards that. So rajoguna will be pushing you depending on where your focus is, because there is action required, right? Even if you want to pursue something spiritually, see all the spiritual leaders, they are also so active in the world. They are running charitable hospitals, schools, this, that. There's a lot of activity, but that rajogun is pushing in the sattva direction. It seemed to make some sense, because that rajo is required. So where you channelize your thoughts, your energy is what matters, and then these gunas will come into picture. Yes, rajoguna is required for you to be active in the world, but in which direction to do what depends on your focus.
Very nice. Yeah.
But I think at a given time, one will be predominant. Unlike the doshas, which are vata, pitta, and kapha, they are in balance. They will be there all the time. But I think, if I'm not wrong, here the gunas, one will be predominant at one time. This is what is my understanding. I'm not very sure.
No, no. Rajas will always be needed. Either you do the tamasic activities or do the sattvic activities. Rajas is needed.
Correct.
When Rajas becomes, because even if you want to see, sometimes we also go into this chips khane ka hai and ye wo something which are mostly tamasic foods. But uska sometimes itna ye aadat pad jata hai, you become so restless. So activity is there, but that activity is triggered by the tamasic habits. So there also you need the rajas. Rajas will be there in the background all the time. Even to do the sattvic activities, you need the rajas. You need to move. You need to do the good karmas. Even in seva, rajas is needed. So, what kind of things are pushing you in that direction? That will decide your tamasic or sattvic influence on your thoughts.
Yes.
And I
Mm.
also feel that if there is imbalance in vata pitta kapha, that will also influence, even though you are doing sattvic activities, but if there is imbalance, you will not progress faster.
Yes,
There'll be
yes,
that tamo
very
gun
much, very much. Yes.
will be there.
Too much kapha is there, it will not allow you to get up from the bed. It means the mind wants to get up from the bed and do the sadhana, but if kapha is in imbalance, the chances will be there that alasya will become very predominant. Not as a
Yeah,
vritti, maybe due to the imbalance in the kapha. So this thing is even for pitta also, no? So much like
yeah,
acidity, the head is also paining and everything is going haywire due to pitta imbalance. Then also, even if you want to do some sattvic activity, you are under the influence of the imbalance in the doshas, you are not able to do that. So it's all interdependent, I
I
think,
just
totally.
want to share the definition of health as per Ayurveda. It is samadosha, samagni, samadhatu malakriyaha, prasanna atma indriya manaha. So that is the Shushruta's definition of health. So where you have samadosha, all the doshas are in equilibrium, balanced doshas. Samagni, balanced or healthy fires. Samadhatu malakriya, balanced tissues and eliminations. Prasanna atma indriya manaha, the senses, mind and soul in a constant, peaceful and blissful state. So here there is the reason why I wanted to know, check this is whether there is a state where all the three gunas are in balance, but probably that is not there. So you can either be predominantly in one, maybe, no?
That's true.
I agree that rajas is required. Without rajas, we cannot even whatever little activity is happening consciously, subconsciously is because of rajas. If the blood is flowing in our veins, if we are able to breathe, we're even able to bat our eyelid, all that requires rajas.
Prakriti is Trigunavalambini, no? 100% anything happening in the Prakriti, it is under the influence of these three gunas only. And see, some of this Rishi Vidyadharji insists so much on the balancing of Vata, Pitta, all three doshas. All the time he says almost 80% of your job is done when the three doshas are balanced. So you will be at the peak of everything. सत्व वृद्धि अपने आप से होने लगती है, तो सब कुछ अपने very smoothly as if you are floating through. Your sadhana will also be like you are floating through, effortless it will be. कुछ भी सोचना भी नहीं पड़ता है, automatic it happens. Lot of this thing also will be done through you, seva. So he insists more and more on balancing all three doshas. Every day he says कि जब तक के तुम्हारे बॉडी का एंड माइंड का हैबिट नहीं बन जाता, तब तक के कंटिन्यूअसली सेज कि बेटर यू गेट योर नाड़ी चेक. And there are some people in art of living who are most of the time, not always, but in that balancing of the three doshas.
Samadosha.
Samadosha, yeah.
Yeah. सर्वद्वारेषु देहेऽस्मिन् प्रकाश उपजायते ज्ञानं यदा तदा विद्यात् विवृद्धं सत्त्वमित्युता. When illumination, which is knowledge, is born in all the sense organs in this body, then may one know indeed that sattva has increased. Alertness, no? This is what all the alpha waves that are detected with practitioners of Sudarshan Kriya. When you're very alert and focused, your sattva is on the rise, is increased. Lobha pravrittirarambha karmanamashamaspruha rajasyetani jayante vivriddhe bharatarshapha. O foremost in the line of Bharata, greed, physical restlessness, undertaking of activities, mental restlessness, longing, these are born when Rajas has increased. I'll just read the words over here. Karmana arambha is undertaking of activities. Ashamaha, mental restlessness. It is the opposite of shama. Shama is your mental steadiness or pleasantness of the mind. Ashamaha is the opposite. Spriha, longing. Yeah. Aprakasho pravrittischa pramado moha evacha tamasyetani jayante vivriddhe kuru nandana. So the joy of Kuru family, dullness and absence of activity, indifference, and indeed delusion, these are born when tamas has increased. So here I just wanted to share something that Swami Vivekananda had mentioned. He says each of us is a combination of the three gunas, and how we react, respond, and interact with the world of people outside is an outcome of these three. So where do we have the capacity to judge people? We ourselves are an outcome of these three gunas. So why do we have to sit in judgment of others when they themselves are not in control? As so to say, they are only an outcome of these three gunas. So when you look at your interactions with people that way, all those aspects of do not see intention behind others' mistakes, accept people as they are, all that becomes very effortless, and only compassion dawns. No? Like I think Sumaji, you were talking about what about if people who do not take responsibility, they're supposed to, but they don't take. So when you come from this understanding, then there is only compassion. Of course, out of your responsibility, active acceptance, you take care of them, you tell them, but then you
But they
educate.
also need to
Yeah,
change.
but you can only educate, no? You can only educate and then ignore. That's it. You set an example, you be a role model, and that's it. Educate and ignore. Because how much you will take, you can take a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink forcibly. That has to happen by the, unless the horse is thirsty, horse will not drink. So I think everyone has that the stage in evolution when I think that spark will be lit. So what we can do is be role models ourselves. Because I think in one of the earlier chapters, Bhagwan had mentioned, do not unsettle the minds of people who are not on the path, who are doing things differently. Do not unsettle their minds. You continue being what you are holding on to on the path of Shreyas. Anybody else wants to share anything? Okay, so I was not sharing the screen. Was I not? Oh, I'm sorry. I think I missed sharing the screen. So today we'll begin with Karma Yoga. Okay, 1 second. Just give me a minute. I'll open this PDF. Can you all see the PDF?
Yes, Brahmaraji.
Before I begin the Karma Yoga, today I will mention the dates that we'll continue our, our Gita class, and the days that we will not be having, and we'll just follow that. The dates will be according to India dates, because otherwise there will be a little confusion if I mention both the dates. So I'll just mention dates as per India time, because majority of us are from India. In the previous chapter, beginning at verse 55, Lord Krishna pointed out that a wise person, a sthita prajna, is one who gives up all desires, being happy with oneself in oneself. This is the ultimate human end and what is meant by moksha, liberation, or freedom. Giving up desires implies giving up all activities also. An activity is pursued because there is a desire to accomplish a given end. If there is no desire to accomplish a given end, there is no pursuit. Arjuna wanted Shreyas, liberation, and understood that in order to gain it, knowledge alone was required, and karma was of no use. Krishna explained all this when Arjuna asked him to describe a sthita prajna. Before that, Krishna talked about the nature of the Atma being free from any limitation. Then he asked Arjuna to listen to what he had to say about Karma Yoga. He said, Yo, Yoge tu imam shrunu. The 39th verse of chapter 2. During this discussion, Krishna asked Arjuna to perform action, remain rooted in Karma Yoga. Yogastah kuru karmani. The 48th verse of chapter 2. This mandate confused Arjuna. Should I continue to do karma or should I pursue knowledge? He wondered. If I pursue knowledge, I will definitely gain moksha. Whereas if I perform karma, I will be bound by karma phala. Even karma yoga is not adequate for moksha. How then am I to gain moksha if I perform action? Arjuna had made it very clear to Krishna early in the second chapter that he wanted moksha. He told Krishna in so many words, I am your student. Please teach me so that I will gain Shreyas, moksha. Arjuna naturally expected Krishna to tell him exactly what would give him moksha. Krishna pointed out that knowledge would give him moksha, thereby implying that all karma was to be renounced in order to pursue knowledge. Why then was Krishna advising him to do karma? Having said that knowledge would give Arjuna moksha, Krishna had then said, get up and fight. What did this mean? Did Krishna think that Arjuna was unfit for moksha? Or did he think that karma yoga would also result in moksha? Arjuna wanted to know what Krishna's contention really was. The situation was like a man going to a doctor, being told that he had diabetes and being advised to start and end each day with sweet rolls and pastries. Such a prescription would result only in a quick death and is not at all befitting the man's condition. Here, Arjuna wanted moksha, absolute freedom, and karma was prescribed for him. He knew that the karmas enjoined by the Vedas were strictly for achieving results within samsara, a life of limitation, and that they would not deliver him from samsara. Krishna himself had said to Arjuna, may you not get involved with any karma unfolded in the Veda. Arjuna was therefore confused by all these conflicting statements. Since moksha was said to be purely in the form of knowledge, he concluded that he should go for knowledge. And if he was to pursue knowledge, why do karma? This was why Arjuna wanted to become a renunciate, a monk, and renounce all activities so that he could dedicate his life to the pursuit of knowledge. Giving up everything, may you go after this knowledge. Sannyasasya shravanam kuryat was a popular statement. The sannyasis Arjuna had seen had all given up everything to pursue knowledge. He therefore thought that if he was interested in moksha, he should do the same. This is the case for anything one wants in life. If money is what you are interested in, you must give up a lot of things and go after money. Or if you want power, you should go after it to the exclusion of all else, spending whatever money is necessary to get it. You cannot expect to retain your money and at the same time gain power. No election was ever won that way. However, after gaining power, whether you are able to regain the money is a different issue. Arjuna therefore thought, if I want knowledge, it is only reasonable that I should give up karma action. For a person to pursue knowledge in a dedicated fashion, giving up everything is not an unreasonable requirement. This is why a life of renunciation, sannyasa, loomed so large in Arjuna's mind and was all he wanted. In his eyes, sannyasa seemed to be the only destination and was the right thing to do. But Krishna had said, having decided to fight, please get up and fight. Tasmat uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya krita nishchaya. 37th verse of chapter 2. So here I was just thinking it would be a good, interesting exercise. Like, for instance, if we can categorize what guna is predominantly um, determining our actions, thoughts during the day. Here, for instance, Arjuna's mind was still in delusion. He was not clear. So there's that element of tamas that has deluded his mind. That moha is there. Moha is not gone yet from Arjuna's mind, right? So maybe throughout today, if we can just reflect and see what is, just be aware what guna is coming up, what is the guna that is reigning. That will be a good introspection, good exercise to do to understand these gunas better. Sattva, Rajas, Tamo gunas.
Lot of things still under the influence of tamas.
Huh?
I'm doing lot of activities I'm doing under the influence of tamas. If I introspect, lot of things will dark
Ah,
side, the under the carpet thing will come up.
yeah. See, it is not to be in a victim or culprit consciousness at all. It is only as an exercise to understand ourselves, understand our mind,
Yes, yes, yes.
so that we can overcome them. So that, see, what Gurudev says is, the moment you realize you're already halfway down the line, down,
Correct.
halfway onto success. So that awareness will be good, to be aware.
But one thing I want to share here, since we were under the lockdown for so long, I really sincerely wanted to start that Brahma Muhurta sadhana. But till today, I'm not successful. Maybe that Sangha can help, but up till now, I'm not able to. And even if somehow I push myself, my whole day gets disturbed. It's really need to work out a lot to get into that, I think. Jai Gurudev.
I want to share one because for me, my one of my classmates in MBBS would always get up, and he continues to do. He gets up at the Brahma Muhurtam, and that was very inspiring for me. And after that, I got into getting to know that getting up at Brahma Muhurta is very good. So even it was there in the back of my mind that I wanted to do it. I think thanks to the lockdown and thanks to association with Rishi Vidyadarji's online sadhana, there was a time for almost, I think, 6 months or so, I was getting up. It did disturb my schedule a lot. It added to lack of sleep. And all my family members would say, you're getting a migraine because of your lack of sleep, this and that. But then I kind of held on to that because I wanted that change. I wanted to do that, inculcate that habit in my in my daily routine. And now, thanks to our Gita class, it is it has become actually it's become a norm now. It's like the biological rhythm is already set in there. So I can't remember a time when I've not woken up at say 4:30 in the morning. Of course, my intention is to get up early so that I at least finish my sadhana before the Gita class. That I think is a little too asking my body to do too much. But yeah, once I regulate the sleep, getting to sleep, going to bed has to be on time, then everything else will set in time.
And really, that makes sense because unless you have Sangha, these things won't get into rolling, Once
Mm-hmm.
you are used to it, then there is no going back. I would
Back.
like to mention quickly over here. 3-4 years back, I was listening to Sadhguru's videos, and he explained the Brahma Muhurta. And next day, you won't believe, I didn't even put the alarm. I got up dot 3:40.
Wow.
Yeah, 3:40. And I was amazed. And now also I keep the alarm for 4 o'clock, but I am awake at 3:40. I get
Mm.
up, I can't even be in the bed. It's
Yeah.
just like I open my eyes, I have to get up from the bed. And
Salute all of you.
thanks to Bahrain team to have this sadhana. Earlier, I used to do sadhana with the German ashram, and there are groups in India also who are doing around 5 o'clock or so. If you want, I can share the link. It is too early for me to be with them.
Mm.
Somehow, I think my routine is set that even if I want to go to bed early, I am not able to sleep. And the rajas is so predominant that if I lie down on the bed early, I keep on turning, twisting, and my legs are so shaky, shaky, shaky. So I really need to put lot of efforts, first of all, to my food habits, then the thought process, because towards the end of the day, if the mind is too active, then also I find it difficult. Yesterday, just we had a meeting and planning for offline courses and activities. The moment anything which is very this thing towards the end of the day keeps on lingering so much in the mind that I'm not able to sleep for a very long time. So if anybody can suggest some things and how to really set that bio clock for food, for mind, and then automatically for the sleep. Once
Uh,
food is set up,
You
then
know,
many
if you
things
follow
will set.
Dinacharya, no, Madhuri ji, according to Ayurveda, there's a beautiful Dinacharya that is set up. The first half of the day, you're supposed to be active in body and mind. And the remaining half, once sun sets, you're supposed to tone down, we are supposed to tone down our activity, not just physical, also mental. And that will prepare us to go to bed. But I agree with you. When your later half is very active, it will of course make it very difficult to sleep. So if you follow dinacharya, if you have not attended any of what is that? It is one of our programs in Sri Sri Tattva, Ayur Jagriti. It beautifully they bring out this dinacharya aspect of dinacharya. As you just follow the sun cycle, and you'll see how your body gets into rhythm. A few days you just make yourself get up early, automatically you'll start feeling sleepy towards by 9:30, 10. You'll start feeling sleepy. So that itself that is one instant thing that you can do. And maybe you should consciously tone down your activity. That will also help letting you sleep early. Shut off the
um,
Okay, I
phone.
will start doing.
Jai Gurudev, there is a book by Dinesh and Baba on sleep. May that will help you, because when I attended course with him, basic course, he was talking on that book, and it was very interesting. So that might help. That book has been really big success actually.
Okay, sure, sure. I really need to work out on these points. Very essential.
Yeah.
Can you put the name of the book on the WhatsApp?
I'll do that.
Yeah. Thank you.
So knowledge alone is adequate for moksha. Arjuna's confusion was based on his innermost understanding of renunciation. Second, huh? Yeah. Krishna seems to have dismissed the pursuit of karma for good by not allowing it to be considered in the pursuit of moksha. Therefore, sannyasa had to be the answer. At the same time, however, Krishna had praised karma. This apparent contradiction caused Arjuna to ask, what exactly should I do? He did not think of pursuing both karma and moksha, because nowhere in the second chapter did Krishna mention combining them. Knowledge, jnana, is adequate for moksha. Moksha does not depend on any karma, because it is not something that is created. Being the very nature of the Atma, moksha is already accomplished. The self is already liberated, already free, and needs only to be recognized as such. Therefore, knowledge alone is adequate for moksha. And after knowledge, karma is also not required because the person is happy with himself or herself as he or she is. What karma is to be done then, and for what purpose? Doing karma for the pleasure of it is not what is being discussed here. To do karma merely for the pleasure of it means that one may or may not do it. Some people will do karma and enjoy themselves, while others may not do any karma at all and still enjoy themselves. If you do something for the enjoyment of it, there is no question of doing it as a bounden duty. Therefore, you need not do it, or you may do it. But for moksha, why should you do karma when all that is required is knowledge? If knowledge is adequate, then you must only pursue that knowledge. Thus, from what Lord Krishna had said so far, it looked to Arjuna as though knowledge was the prime pursuit. But it was also very clear to Arjuna that he had been commanded to perform action. Therefore, the first dose of teaching contained in the second chapter was confusing to Arjuna, who was already confused when the teaching began. In an attempt to resolve his confusion, he asked Krishna to describe a sthita prajna, a wise person. This was an indirect question in that, by knowing exactly what a sthita prajna was, Arjuna thought he would know whether it was knowledge or karma that would make him wise and therefore free. In response, Lord Krishna did not mention karma at all. He talked only about self-mastery and knowledge. He never said that one who does karma becomes a sthita prajna. All of Krishna's descriptions of a wise person implied knowledge alone. He had said that what is night for the ignorant is day for the wise, and what is night for the wise is day for the ignorant. In this way, he talked about two visions, that of the wise and that of the ignorant. The vision of one who is ignorant being different from the vision of one who is wise. From all that Krishna had told him, Arjuna received confirmation that knowledge was adequate for moksha. There was no question of moksha requiring a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of karma, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Moksha, after all, is not like an English trifle or granola. Only knowledge is necessary, and all other little bits are useless. Thus, Arjuna concluded, I think it is, if knowledge alone is going to liberate me, then the pursuit of knowledge is enough. If knowledge is adequate, karma never comes into the picture, neither before knowledge nor after knowledge. Because this was Arjuna's thinking, he had a doubt to raise. Thus, when Krishna finished talking, Arjuna asked his question. There are two types of questions. One is a question that is asking for an explanation, called prashna in Sanskrit. What is a wise person is such a question. Another type of question involves doubt. Doubt, samshaya, comes in the form of, does the sthita prajna walk, talk, sit, etc. or not? Only when there are two or more opinions about a topic is there a possibility of a doubt. Throughout the Gita, Arjuna raised doubts and also asked questions involving definitions or descriptions. When Arjuna wanted to know what a wise person was, he was not expressing a doubt, although he may have had one. He only wanted to know what is sannyasa, for example, is not a doubt. It is purely a question asking for a definition. But when Arjuna asked which was better, sannyasa or karma yoga, he was expressing a doubt. Here, in the beginning of the 3rd chapter, he raised a doubt. Arjuna uvacha jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi keshava. Arjuna uvacha. Arjuna asked, Janardana, O Janardana, karmanaha, than action, buddhihi, knowledge, jayasi, better, te mata chet, if it is your contention, tat then, ghore karmani, in the gruesome action, mam me, kim niyojayasi, why do you impel, Keshava, O Keshava? He's addressed Krishna twice over here. Arjuna said, if, O Janardana, your contention is that knowledge is better than action, then why do you impel me into this gruesome action, O Keshava? Arjuna addressed Lord Krishna as Janardana, a name for the Lord, which means one who upholds the law of karma by giving the fruits of wrong action to the performer of the action. I'll just read this again. Janardana is a name for the Lord, which means one who upholds the law of karma by giving the fruits of wrong action to the performer of the action. Wrong karma results in pain, dukkha, either immediately or later. Yeah. I'm wondering why he's mentioned wrong actions only. Fruits come for both right and wrong actions, no? Janardana. Maybe we need to go a little deeper into the meaning of Janardana. Krishna's contention, as Arjuna saw it, was the pursuit of knowledge, and knowledge are better than or superior to action, karma. The action being referred to here was no ordinary action such as performing a ritual or cooking. It was a terrible, gruesome action involving bloodshed and the destruction of many people. Therefore, Arjuna asked Krishna, why do you engage me in this terrible action? If, with reference to moksha, knowledge is superior, if knowledge alone is going to give me moksha, why are you asking me to do karma? In Arjuna's understanding, Krishna was asking him to act, but at the same time, he was praising knowledge and its pursuit. Krishna seemed to be saying that knowledge liberates, but at the same time, he was asking Arjuna to do karma, and terrible karma at that. Arjuna wanted to be a sannyasi, and Krishna seemed to be pushing him into the ring to fight. He had not even signed a contract with him. He had asked only that Krishna be his driver, not his agent who would arrange fighting matches for him. Arjuna's question, why are you asking me to perform this terrible action, extends into the next verse as well. Vyamishrenev vakyena buddhim mohayasiva me tadekam vada nischitya yena shreyohamapnuyam. Vyamishrena, self-contradictory, vakyena, with words, iva, seemingly, me, my, buddhim, mind, mohayasi iva, you appear to confuse, yena, by which, aham, I, Shreyaha, liberation or moksha, apnuyam, shall gain, tat, that, ekam, one, nishchitya, have you, having decided, vada, tell. So, with words that are seemingly contradictory, you appear to be confusing my mind. Having decided which is better, tell me the one thing by which I shall gain liberation. How nicely Arjuna has asked the question. He's not said you are contradicting yourself. He said with words that are seemingly contradictory. And he didn't say you're confusing me. He says you appear to be confusing my mind. So Arjuna is an example of a perfect student, I guess, no? Where he's asking words with humility. It is not with that, um, there are some questions asked where you want to test that other person's knowledge, test that teacher's knowledge. It is not with that ahankara that he's asking. He's sincerely wanting to know. Arjuna did not say that Krishna's words were self-contradictory, but that they were seemingly contradictory. In Arjuna's understanding, there was contradiction. But even knowing this, he did not say to Krishna, "You confuse me with self-contradictory words," which would have been an accusation. Here, we are given an indication of how one should talk in such situations. When Arjuna said, "By words which are seemingly contradictory, you seem to be confusing me," he meant that, in fact, Krishna's intention was to confuse him. We know that there is often accusation involved in a dialogue between two people. If your perception is that a person did this or that to you, you may say, "You did this to me." The person then becomes defensive and will not accept your statement. You then feel that your feelings are invalidated, that you are not understood. The other person also feels that he or she is accused and not understood at all. In other words, there is not only no communication, but also miscommunication. Here, Arjuna's use of the word "eva," as though, reveals an important principle in communication. Never evoke the defensive person in the one with whom you are communicating. Such an important takeaway. Never evoke the defensive person in the one with whom you are communicating. If we can just practice this with our own people at home, that is a problem. We have a problem with people who are close to us. No, so with whoever we are interacting, be it at home or at work or anywhere else also, if we can just make use of this, never evoke the defensive, rather than directly accusing, say as though, seemingly. It's beautiful. Arjuna was not accusing Krishna of confusing him, nor did he say that his words were contradictory. Instead, he said that Krishna's words seemed to be contradicting themselves, and therefore Krishna seemed to confuse him. This means that Arjuna did not think that Krishna was confusing him, only that this was how he perceived it. He says, "My perception is that I have not understood what you have taught because you seem to praise knowledge." We'll stop here today. We'll continue this tomorrow. Anyone wants to share anything before we close?
Very useful, Manana, today. Very, very useful. Actually, how we should be day-to-day life, how we should be behaving, and take small things we need to take care, especially about the activities, tendencies developing due to the tamasic effects. unknowingly so many loopholes we can today. Just the things are flashing in front of my eyes. Thank you so much, Jai Guru.
And also the art of communication, no? So
Yeah,
beautiful.
most important. This defensive thing once comes, no, then mistrust also comes, and all it is all linked downward flow.
And like
And it
Swami,
is so impossible to really convey what you really feel through your words. That's what is a problem, because the subtler the feelings, you cannot communicate through words.
mm,
Our presence should be very reassuring, like Gurudev's, no? Just the presence itself gives so much reassurance, so the other person also melts and comes into the level that whatever you say, he or she is ready to at least listen.
and this, you seem to be doing some mistake. Instead of saying you're making a mistake or you made a mistake, if we can include the seem, you seem to have made a mistake, that will make such a beautiful shift in the other person.
Do you think so?
I think so. I think I'm going to practice this today. I'm really going to do that because see, otherwise you'd say some, for instance, um, if you just directly tell someone you made a mistake, they will go on to the defensive, and then they will start um, uh, justifying why it is not, or the anger gets triggered. So many things can happen. But if you say,
Maybe the we can change the wording, like, I seem to feel that you have made a mistake.
I seem, I seem to feel that you seem to have made a mistake. You can include
Mistake.
both.
That might make it milder.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I think I'm going to, I hope I remember to say this because out of force of habit, it might just come out just like that. But the seem, it's such a beautiful, nice term. Eva in Sanskrit. Eva. As though it is nice. So I just wondered, see, during the break time that we have during Navratri, um, do you all want to continue the Manana? Because then one of you would need to take lead. Sunita ji is available only up until 8:30 India time. So for Manana, she's not there. So what do we do? Should we give a break for Manana or continue
Yes,
those?
yes. We
Yeah,
will
please,
give break for
because
Manana.
yeah, because we want to listen to it, and then we will be missing it.
Correct.
And it is very difficult to go back and listen to the recordings.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll continue the Gita class those few days. 24th to 30th will be a break. There will be a, we'll give a vacation. And then 1st to 4th, we'll continue. We'll have the Gita class. And 5th, 6th, again, we will not have. 7th onwards, we'll resume.
I'm sorry, Brahmaraji, there will be no break for Nanaji's class, right? I
No,
did
no,
not understand
no,
clearly.
the break is for
My
Nana's
internet is shaky, so
class.
I'm not able to listen fully.
Yeah.
Could you please put on the group if it is
Put it in the group. Yeah,
possible,
yeah.
Brahmaraj?
I'll
Okay,
certainly.
dhanyavad, dhanyavad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your voice is breaking because of my internet problem, so I'm not
No
able to hear completely. Yeah, dhanyavad,
no
Brahmaraj.
problem. I will do that. Vijay ji, just one question before you leave. I was wondering let me just stop the